Hey everybody, it's Durgertime. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are in the final week because soon we're going to have the demo coming out, and then after that, the new game will be coming out, which is very exciting. I will be bringing over the NWA save into the new game. It's going to take a little bit of time to kind of tweak to get it just right, but I'm looking forward to adding all of the new elements to it. So if you're a fan of this series, do not worry. We will be continuing it onto the new season. I guess it might be a season finale, and then we'll do it. So one of the things I wanted to do with this week is, honestly, this is going to be the week of the NWA, because I'm upset that we're a few months back from reality at this point. There's some delays in editing and some delays in filming. I try to keep this kind of parallel with reality, and we've obviously have a huge time discrepancy. So we are going to be pumping out NWA content this week because I want to get as close to April as we can. As we're almost into May, I want to get this up to kind of current year. In addition to that, I added some narratives that should pop up that reflect the current reality, namely the coronavirus scare and the effect on the economy, as well as WWE releasing 20 of its wrestlers. So when we hit around April, we should see those effects. I'm going to try to probably do 2 episodes of Power, a episode of this. So I'm hoping to do 2 shows per episode, and we might do 3 or 4 of these to kind of get caught up. So that way, when we're hitting 2020, we got a pretty up-to-date save. It might be a month behind, but we can kind of move forward from there, and it gives us a little bit of a congruence with reality, which will be kind of fun. So we had a pretty good show, 55. We're still looking to see what our financials end up in, and I'm kind of honestly thinking about dropping some of our broadcaster requirements. Now, the broadcast requirements, I'm going to read this up here because this was kind of important about this, is that it's how your look and you feel your show is. It determines whether elements are worse than some of your rivals, and you will get a penalty on the overall show's grade. There's no direct benefit of having best, blah, blah, blah. Your rivals are defined in the same size. So it will penalize our overall grade, but that might be worth a hit if we're looking at finances, right? So if you look here, like, I wouldn't get rid of these minor licenses. I wouldn't, but like some of these have, where's the broadcast quality? Industry standard. Only NXT is the broadcast level. Now, I am not 100% certain. And maybe we can look at the player's book. Honestly, that's what I'm excited about 2020 about more than anything else, is that they supposedly have a really expanded player's handbook, because I feel like this thing isn't great. We're to the point where I've been playing for 4 years and I still don't know things about this game because they just don't come up. Honestly, a lot of times I rely on you guys to tell me if I am completely wrong or not about how something works. So, and of course, I don't think there's anything here about production, because why would there be? Why? It's not like an important part of the game, right? Oh man, what a bad player's handbook. So what I'm not positive on is, do you get a concurrent penalty? Like, do you get one penalty overall, or do you get a penalty per rival? So, like the example here, there's broadcast quality industry standard, right? It's going to cost $20,000 a month to maintain. If we lowered it, it would only cost $7,500 a month. So we reduce it by a third practically, and we're only going to potentially going to get a penalty once. because only NXT is that level, right? Versus here, if I think this is the right thing, we would get a penalty for each rival, right? Because when it comes out, it's like it usually says like, one of your rivals is higher, three of your rivals is higher. So I think I'm not gonna do it right now, but I'll wait until the episode's up and see what you guys think. I think I might drop broadcast quality down to save some money, and that's probably it. Maybe live experience too, because live experience right now costs $20 a month plus $5K per show. If we dropped it down, it would just be $7,500 a show, which, we're running 5 shows a month, kinda, let's say, because we're not always doing a pay-per-view every month. So that's like 37,500, right? Versus currently it's, what is it? It's 15,000. So it's not actually that much different. It's about 40,000 there. So it might not actually be worth losing that for the. Oh, actually, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. We're looking at live events, right? Live events. So what were we talking about again? We were talking about live event cuts here. So that would be 20K, right? We're looking at about another 25 versus, it's still about 45 versus we're looking at 7,500 plus an additional 10. So that's like negligible, right? So because of the fact we're running a weekly TV show, that's pretty much non-existent of an issue. But I think this one we could save a lot of money with the broadcast quality. And yes, we would take a little bit of a hit, but I think the hit would be worth it to save the money, so that we're not making losses, so we can last longer. It'll be a slower race, but it would be living kind of within our means. And then that will allow us to start to get positive on expenditures. We're only doing $26,000 in wage bills now, which is being covered with our sponsorship income nicely. So we just kind of have to worry about those weekly wage bills, which is an issue because, we have a lot of workers that we are paying weekly if we're doing TV show. So, what do we got here? We're already at 101,000, right? So we're already at a loss here, significantly. And our pay-per-view revenue was only like 20K. So it's not like we're making a lot of money from the pay-per-view, and did we get anything from our TV revenue? Like, what did we get? Nothing from this show because it's YouTube? Is that how that works? Like that might be the issue. Is we might want to look at free to air. Makes no money at all. So like that's an option. Is that why don't we look at maybe getting power onto a new broadcaster? Would there be anybody willing to negotiate in the US? So, like, that's maybe what we're gonna do. We might push to another promotion to get money here because we're not making any money on YouTube. Like even Twitch would be better. Get revenue based on value of their content. I would rather like commercial. So commercial will be you earn money based on advertising revenue based on a company's size. If I remember correctly, like commercial will give you more money in general, but it's a tiny place, which is unfortunate. Very small for Hulu. Nav TV is very small. Spectrum Sports is only in the Southeast and tiny. Twitch might be. They have a lot of companies already running Twitch shows. I think that's what we got to do. Now, we are in a contract, but looking at this, I think we have no episodes limit. So I don't think we need to worry. Like, if we don't use it anymore, I think we're fine. The minimum quality was nice, and the size was nice because they're small. But there's other smalls. So why don't we do that? Why don't we try to let's see if we can cancel. No, I don't want to do that. So we're not going to cancel the deal, but we have no requirement for any more episodes. So, like, technically, I think we fulfilled our contract in terms of a no episode limit. So if we tried to go somewhere else, I don't hate the idea of Twitch because it's small versus like a tiny. Might not be bad. New deal for we're not gonna be able to meet that requirement though. Maybe afternoon. 1 year unlimited. Right, so specific number of episodes that include in contract is the company's responsibility to complete them before the deal ends. If the deal expires before that number, is that right? Okay. Has been completed by broadcaster didn't take legal action. So we don't have any requirement. More maximum of 9 months. Deal will be set to become active once the rival contract has ended. Okay, so we have to wait. Unfortunately, that's a real bummer. So that's a long-term plan we got to look at, is just getting out of that contract, because YouTube's not giving us any money at all. It's not even giving us subscription money. So, like, yeah, it might be giving us a fan base, but we have no revenue stream. Like, that's garbage. So every time we put on a show, the only thing we're getting is ticket sales. That's a huge problem, I think. So we got to get out of that contract. We can't pay it out, but we do need to get out of it as soon as possible. Even if we move to Twitch, even if we move to a smaller company, I think that would be fine. Other thing, actually, you know what? Why don't we? YouTube is only covered in Canada and the US somehow. What if we found a broadcaster in, like, Britain? Anybody? No. Anybody in Japan? Subscription days are here. Why don't we get a deal here for NWA Power for like a couple months, even if it's on demand or afternoon. Deal with a rival company, one with clashing coverage. I don't think it did it? Did we have clashing coverage? I don't think so. US, Canada. There's no clashing coverage there. Is there? Oh, there is, because it's in other Europe. Damn it. Everything has coverage in the US. That is not helpful at all. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do that. I was hoping maybe we can get a little bit of a revenue stream somewhere else, but everything is a national chain that wants to talk to us, so we're not going to be able to do anything with it. So that's concerning, to say the least. We'll have to deal with it, though. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and get to freaking booking this Power that I'm real bummed that we're not making any money off of. We're gonna try to do 2 shows an episode, so let's get this first one in the bag. All right. What do we got going on here? Regional battles finished first out of 14 in Great Lakes, first out of Mid-Atlantic, first in Mid-South, first in Midwest, first in New England, first in Northwest, first in Southeast, first in Southwest, first in Tri-State, first in Puerto Rico. How the hell did we get first in Puerto Rico? First in Hawaii. Holy hell. Holy hell. I know we did an $81,000 loss, but damn, might have been worth it for that. Huge prestige, huge momentum going in. What the hell are we looking at? We're still, low in importance, but moving up. Popularity, though, looking great in Southeast. We keep hammering that. The plan really is just to try to move that importance needle. It takes a while. We move this up. We move one of the bleed over territories to it. And then what's our spillover in Southeast is Mid-Atlantic, Mid-South, ideally Mid-Atlantic. So we hit this, we hit Mid-Atlantic, and Mid-Atlantic's actually not looking great. It's dipped. Maybe we run a show in there once in a while. And that, well, we do have a pay-per-view in there, so I think we have the Mid-Atlantic Mayhem coming up March 3rd. So that is worth it, I think, even though we're losing money. That makes me happy to see that we completely busted up the regional battles. That's crazy. Look at that. Higher than Ring of Honor, NXT, NWA's pulling it through. That's nuts. That's real nuts. I mean, some of that has to do with probably Chris Jericho being added into it. I'll take it, though. All right, backstage ratings looking a little bit better. Uh-oh. Pillman's being obnoxious, eventually beat up Josephus. Stern warning. Josephus unhappy. Pillman and Josephus have a simmering tension relationship. Great. Well, there goes that 72. God. All right. Well. Here, we're going to try to fix that now. Can we, this usually always blows up in my face when I try to positively metal on them. Metal backfired. They have strong dislike. Yeah, I screwed that up. It works every once in a while. But, all right, they really don't like each other. So, well, that's fine. We're not really going to have them working against each other, right? So, Jesus Christ. All right, where are we going to be? We're going to be Southeast again, 2,000 fans. Sounds A-okay to me. Exactly what we can fit in our power studio. We're pretty much exactly, might be a sellout, which will be nice. All right, let's go ahead and book it. What do we got storyline wise that we have to worry about here? The last show we had the whole kind of authority figure kind of thing going on with Brody Lee. Skrull and Pillman still building up, and we got Tim Storm and Ricky Starks kind of building a little thing. Oh, we need to get rid of before it ruins us. Marty Bell as manager here is not a good idea. Did not work at all. All right, so we kind of know what we got to do. We got to build up to... We don't have a pay-per-view coming up until, I think, Mid-Atlantic Mayhem. So we have a little bit of time to start building up some stuff. And we have Chris Jericho, I think 3 more, maybe, something like that. Maybe 3 more contracts. Should show us... Chris Jericho does not show us here what it is, but I believe we have like 3 or 4 uses of him. So if we need to, we could always throw him in here. We're trying to save him for the big things, for big events. So probably not going to put him on the show. But if we need to, we always can. Because obviously we're going to have to get the belt off of him at some point. So that'll be a plan for a pay-per-view, I'm sure. All right, guys, let's book it. All right, let's run this show, see what we got. We started off with Colt and Flip versus the Ascension. Colt and Flip take the win against the Ascension. This match is okay. It's a 48. It's about what I would expect. It gets the show off to a strong start. Flip doing okay out there, 37. He probably works a little bit better in the high spots, and this was a work-the-crowd match, so we kind of expect a little bit of a dip. But Colt ends up winning, Victor taking the pin. Not too bad. We do advance the storyline with Colt and Josephus, and we give Ascension a loss, showing Colt and Flip can beat them. Afterwards, though, the victory is short-lived, where Colt Cabana isn't looking. Josephus, who's working ringside, grabs him and actually puts a rag to his mouth and chloroforms him to drag him back to the backstage, while Flip Gordon, I guess, wasn't paying attention. Maybe the Ascension was holding him back or something like that. Ascension probably grabbing Colt, dragging him out in a crucifix position. We know Josephus has umbrage with Colt Cabana because he is a jester and he's a false prophet, and it seems like he's abducting him, maybe to deal with this problem. It does lose heat for our segment, though, which is unfortunate, but overall the rating isn't too bad. Oh boy. So I debut New Jack because I drunkenly hired him on a live stream, and I'm regretting it right now. He fights Caleb Conley, and it's a short match. Oh boy. Gets a very good gangster gimmick, though. They have great chemistry, which is nice. But New Jack had a 14, which that seems wildly low. Not saying he's a good wrestler, but that seems wildly low. It was probably popularity based. We get an E for this. This was a mistake. It becomes pretty clear New Jack was drunk. Okay, well that makes sense. Also was wasted on drugs. Also was high on drugs. Oh boy. Well, this is a mistake. Afterwards, the drunk and high New Jack stumbles over to the interview booth where David Marquez interviews him, asking him what New Jack's doing here at NWA. And he says he's here to F it up and F up everyone. He enjoyed his freedom to go off script and performed well, surprisingly. Didn't get a great rating, though, because he is wasted. Kimberly and Thunder Rosa come in to save the show with a D-. Not that bad, but sure a lot better than what we had there. Kimberly beats Thunder Rosa in 2 minutes real quick with a palm strike. 38 for her, 32 for Thunder Rosa, trying to build up Kimberly as a champion contender, one of our only faces. So that's kind of the focus here. All right. What do we got here? We got Von Erichs versus Storm and Starks. Von Erichs are the Heritage Tag Team titles, and Storm and Starks got an opportunity to face them based on their wins. And Von Erichs win, though. They defeat Tim Storm by pinfall, kind of protecting Ricky Starks a little bit. Make defense number 3 of the Alliance titles. We want to build the Von Erichs up as something. I feel like it's working because we do have a lot of... I feel like we're seeing their in-ring performance here moving up rapidly. Starks and Storm had about the same. Did lose a little bit heat from the NWA story for the Von Erichs, though, unfortunately. But we're starting to give them more and more credibility. The rating's fine. In our main event, it's a little bit better. We have Eli Drake versus Eddie Kingston for the Alliance NWA National Heavyweight title. Eli Drake defeats Eddie Kingston and retains the title, making it defense number 4. Maybe a little too long. Got the crowd buzzing, though. Eli Drake had a 50. Eddie had a 47. Yeah, it's just not bad. I think this was a steal the show match, so it probably boosted their ratings a little bit, maybe a little too long, blew them both out. And afterwards, we have Nick Aldis, Hanson, and Rowe, the members of the boardroom. They come out to greet Eli Drake after his win. Nick Aldis grabs a microphone and starts talking to him. He says, Eli, the board of directors upstairs have been watching you closely. You know, they are sick of all this modern wrestling stars and are looking for true, pure wrestling champions to represent them. Your do anything to win drive and ruthlessness has really caught their eye. I know Paul Pinky George has spoken to you personally last week, giving you an opportunity. Well, here's your chance. Will you join the board and retake the company with us? Nick Aldis offers out his hand as a handshake. Eli Drake thinks it over and starts to walk away, stops, smirks to the audience, and then walks back to shake it, officially making the NWA Alliance champion part of the board. This does pretty well, ends the show nicely. And so now we have 4 members of the board of directors, or the boardroom, representing the board of directors of the company, and clearly kind of becoming our heel stable of bitter old school wrestlers, representing the Paul Pinky George and his secretive board. This does okay. This quality is not great, though. It does increase our popularity in 19 or 18 regions, though, so that's pretty good. All right. I'm assuming we are going to have some problems here in the list, so let's take a look. We got 2,000 fans, went well. Incident involving New Jack. Yeah, was drunk, fine him. Was wasted, fine him. And somehow also was high and wasted, fine him. Christ, what did we do? It's such a mistake. Conley's annoyed, was unhappy, was clearly wasted on drugs. Yeah. Jack can't sell anything worth a damn. Yep. Josephus is a natural talker. Kid is worth giving promo time, in my opinion. Colt Cabana, positive on Josephus. Did you hear that, guys? Someone is positive on Josephus. Shelton Benjamin's hurt. Otherwise, not much here going on, which is good. We do have to worry about this New Jack issue. Josephus got a little upset about still about the Pillman issue. I'm gonna try to give him a bonus. Just want to keep this happy. I think that should be enough to move it down to irritated. That will work for now. Just throw money at the problem and it'll all work itself out. All right, let us go on to episode 2 of Power. I do want to take a look here. We just got done Hard Times. Oh, right, we do have another pay-per-view. We have Wrestle War. I forgot because we are building up. That's where Nick Aldis is going to be fighting. Chris Jericho. So, gotta find that alliance trade. How many more opportunities do I have with Chris Jericho? Is what I want to know. Is there a way to even find out? Loan, contract. All right, 4 months, 3 weeks, or 3 appearances. So we have 3 more appearances for him. Have to use it wisely. One's going to be Wrestle War for sure. Then we have to decide whether we're going to have him lose the belt there, or whether we are going to have him retain still and have another month of him. In which case we could have him one time on Power after the fact, and then going into our next Mid-Atlantic Mayhem where he can either get a new challenger or something else can happen. We'll have to figure it out. Let's go ahead and get to Power, though. All right, what do we got here? Brett Hemmer's contract is ending. But Eric upset. Ross, what's going on? What's up, Ross? Lower mid card. You want to be a mid carder? That's fine. It's no problem. Easy peasy. Brian Hebner is going to be leaving us soon. Let us go ahead and renegotiate that. 110 per appearance. All shows looks good to me. Don't cover travel though. There we go. All right, that's fine. You have to pay for a ref, so gotta have a ref. I'm hoping that I don't really think that exists in this game, but I'm hoping for TEW 2020. Might make it a little bit harder, but I hope they make it more realistic where you need multiple refs. Maybe they get stamina fatigue, right? I know you can have multiple refs in the game, but there's no reason to really have more than one. I've been finding, like, even on a really long show, it doesn't seem like it ever has a negative. Same thing with like road agents. I feel like they should. Hopefully, the new game gives it a little more realism. I know he's working on the AI a lot, so I'd be like to see what happens when it comes to road agents and refs and behind the scenes people. I feel like having more of them, more realism there could be really helpful. I mean, I'm probably not going to happen, but it would be nice. Locker room rating is going down. What can we even do here? What can I even do here? Why not? Why not this? Sure. No effect. So much negative here. What a rough one. Real rough. I don't know what to do with that. All right, let's go ahead and keep building. So Wrestle War is going to be soon. It would be third week. So we have this one and another Power before Wrestle War. So we got some time to build, but we kind of have everything set up for the most part. Pillman and Skrull still going on. The Brody storyline, I kind of had to give him a target, I think. And that might end up being Eli Drake, kind of building up into something. We will have to see. We're probably going to clean up these storylines after Wrestle War, so I'm kind of going to use this to build out and kind of end some of our stories and go into a new direction for things. Let's go ahead and let's book Power. All right, another 65 minutes. Let's go ahead and see what we got. Start to show off with Scott Steiner having an interview saying he's going to take on anyone. He's the baddest dude here. Big Papa Pump. He challenges Brody Lee. He says he sees a lot in him, like him, and he wants to challenge him to a Texas death match, which he's going to have tonight. Yeah, the face turn still getting a poor reaction. Brody Lee just... They really don't want that face turn. I guess we'll keep him heel. I mean, to me, he's a tweener here, but that's fine. We gain heat for the Brody Unhinged story, and we're going to have Brody Lee and Scott Steiner in the main event in a Texas death match. Yeah, we'll deal with it later. We have a battle royale with 10 female competitors with the opportunity of facing Sasha Banks in the pay-per-view of Wrestle War. We have pretty much everybody, plus a new face from the local hires. Um, and oh no, Master Eagle got injured. In the end, it ends up being Tessa Blanchard who wins the Battle Royal. Final Four were Kimberly, Madison Eagles, and Harlow O'Hara, who's the new girl. That's funny. Kimberly being the final elimination. It's a shame we don't see their stats, because I kind of want to see how she did. Overall, it's not horrible for such a mixed bag. But Tessa Blanchard comes number one contender officially. Yeah, that sucks. Got some heat backstage and I felt a mistake caused Madison Eagles get hurt. That sucks. Afterwards, Tessa Blanchard and Sasha Banks square off. Sasha comes out to kind of confront her challenger. Tessa instead attacks her and actually gets her down on the ground. Got the crowd hotter. We gain heat for the who can take on Sasha Banks story. And overall does pretty good here. After that, we have Flip Gordon getting interviewed by David Marquez, and he has a tag match tonight. And he says he has not seen Colt Cabana since he has been abducted, has no idea what's going on, still intends on having the match no matter what, but he has not been able to get in contact with Colt and is very concerned. Afterwards, we have Flip's match, and he's fighting the Ascension again, sort of a rematch, but no one is there. He tells the ref anyways to run it, and he's going to be it's going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match. He's going to try his best to fight it. And he has a match. It's extremely short, though. The Ascension ultimately beat Flip Gordon in a handicap match. He gets some stuff in, but ultimately he cannot survive. Connor seemed off his game, which is unfortunate. Flip was a high spots match, did pretty well here. Connor struggled a little bit. 41's not horrendous for what this is, but we give Ascension back their win, kinda, and build that up of where the hell's Colt Cabana. Afterwards, we have Pillman versus PCO. Obviously, Villain Enterprise has been kind of an issue for Pillman, so if he has a singles match against one of the members, and he actually defeats him in 12 minutes with a Tornado DDT. Pillman had a 47, PCO had a 36. Got the crowd buzzing. Match is a 47. It's not bad. PC and book a little bit smarter. These shorter matches. Yeah, probably hurt him out there. Afterwards, the remaining members of Villain Enterprise come out to attack Pillman, but Pillman ends up grabbing a chair and preparing for them, and defeats them one at a time before squaring off with Marty Scurll. So kind of building up to that Scurll-Pillman match. Does pretty well. It could really be going better, but I feel like this is sort of I feel like a 51 isn't bad for us, all things considered. Like a C is basic. C minus seems to be like our A plus, so overall, not horrendous. Backstage, we have a cameraman finding Colt Cabana. He is tied to a chair with his eyes taped open, and he's being forced to watch a videotape on an old TV. The video is shakingly edited sermon from Josephus and laced with bizarre subliminal imagery. And we only hear bits of it. It's like some are worthy of salvation. The Lord of Light has given us visions of the future. We have seen what has come to pass here in NWA and what it means for the world. We have the keys for your future. And then the word submit flashes on the screen. You must simply follow, obey, flashes. Images of a slaughterhouse flash, making Cabana squirm and fidget in a chair. While some are not worthy of salvation, you are worthy. You are special, but only if you submit to our will. Submit flashes again. Your future's in your hands. The video continues, but Josephus actually grabs the cameraman and tells him he can't be here and scares him off. It seems like Colt Cabana is going through some type of re-education by the cult. And we are continuing to advance that storyline. Did get the crowd hotter. They seemed like they liked it. And we have our main event, Brody Lee versus Scott Steiner in a Texas death match. Good heat, decent wrestling. Brody Lee defeats Scott Steiner in a Texas death match in 5 minutes. Could not beat the 10 count. He got a running big boot. Brody Lee had a 58. Steiner had a 37. We're probably going to put Steiner out to pasture. I think I'm going to feed him to Brian Pillman, and that'll be his kind of last thing. 45 there is not great for a main event. Kind of a lackluster power, unfortunately. Did increase our popularity in 18 regions, though. It's fine. And then it gives us about one more power before the pay-per-view, which we'll do in the next episode. We'll do another double, so get ready for that. Kind of moving up that storyline. I think after a couple episodes like this, we should be getting close to running in real time, which will be nice. We had to take a look at this Eagles injury. Heard King needs to learn how to sell, Pillman says. I'm curious to see. We'll just go medical, probably easier to find. 27 days, not horrendous. That does suck, though. Allison K, irritated. Being left off a hard time still. Ashley Vox got morale injured. Okay, so she's angry that she injured someone. Well, that's your problem. That's not really my problem, is it? Power report was show went down well, so we're still doing okay. Roman Reigns got loaned to the UK. That's weird. AEW re-signed Nick Jackson. That's not shocking. Anything else going on in the world here? Sheamus to re-sign. Could have stole Sheamus. I don't want Sheamus, even if I could. Interesting. So, that's a bummer for the injury, but other than that, I think that went well. Still moving our momentum up, which is nice. Finances, yeah, it's about like 15K a show. That's rough because we're not getting any TV revenue. We got to get out of that contract. I almost wish we could just cancel it, but we really can't. It's going to be a long time. What have we got? 8 months left on that contract of no money coming in. Real rough. We got to get out of YouTube. All right, guys. That is it for me today. I will be around very soon for another two-parter here. We'll have another 2 episodes of Power in one episode as we continue our push to getting to the April current timeline here. All right, thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you next time.